outing with you guys offense?
I think he showed what he's showed really since he's been in the league. He's a talented, really good football player. Some runs that were blocked well, but also some runs that he made some yards after contact, broke some tackles. Brings a great energy to him. It was a good first outing for him, and we hope to build on that.
Wes, is it instincts or vision? Like his touchdown looked like there's a sliver of a hole between left tackle, left guard. He immediately decides he wants to go to the outside. Is that, first of all, was it supposed to go there? And you know, at what point does he decide, you know, to bounce it out?
Yeah, I think there's a combination of vision, reads, keys on plays. You know, that's the nature of that play is kind of it's the duo play that everybody runs around the league, and you know, if it gets condensed, gets mushed kind of inside, then not every back can do it, but if you can stick your right foot in the ground in that instance and shoot to the outside, you know that you're one-on-one on the corner when everyone else was blocked. The nickel, the safety was inserted for in that case. So everything kind of just closed in. He could feel kind of that edge condense, and the good ones can do that. And then he has enough speed and agility to kind of make that hard left turn right there, and then sprint for the edge.
So before that, had you seen the speed that he would need to get to the outside, like in camp or whatever? Like, is that sort of the first time you in because it's a game situation that you see him let loose like?
Well, he plays fast. You know, there's a lot made of timed speeds on all guys across the board in football, but Aaron's always played fast, and we've certainly seen that out on the practice field.
With Christian Darrisaw and Brian O'Neill, what stood out to you about the way they handled their assignments on Sunday?
Well, I think you look at the end of the stat sheet, and you know, when you can minimize Burns and Thibodeau's effect, at least on the stat sheet as far as sacks are concerned, those types of things. 1 sack on the night, or on the day, excuse me. But also, just there was a physicality throughout. I think Christian Darrisaw is playing. You know, he's had a phenomenal camp and played a really good game on Sunday, and you know, he's playing as good as any tackle in the league at this point. And I wasn't surprised by it, just from how locked in he's been, really from the offseason, you know, through training camp to this game. He's just been so dialed in, and so I was not surprised that he played the way he did.
As a coach and game planner, what does it do for you guys to have those two positions, those two edges locked down the way you do?
Well, hopefully it gives you a little more of a chance to try to have a plan for Dexter Lawrence, but you know, he kind of showed why he's one of the best. He's at least in the conversation, if not the best defensive tackle in the league. He's really a phenomenal player, and you know, we struggled at times, but guys like that are going to make plays, and you know, I thought those guys battled all day up front, and were able to get some productive runs going and get some passes off for Sam.
Wes, with Christian, just how would you describe his demeanor, and how can someone that like soft-spoken off the field play like that on the field?
Yeah, some guys just they get out there. You know, there's quiet guys out there that are just killers on the field. And, you know, he's kind of one of those guys. It's locked in. You can see it. You can see it pregame. He's just focused and locked in, ready to go out and do his job. And not just in the pass pro game, like I mentioned, but the physicality in the run game, the finish. I thought the offensive line running down the field, chasing the ball, those types of things that you want to see, kind of finishing without it necessarily being at the point of attack. You know, the effort. I thought our conditioning can always improve, but I felt like we were a conditioned team for game one, and we're able to use some tempo And I think those things will just build as we go, but you like to see it in game one.
What about Sam Darnold's performance were you most happy with?
Really just the execution of the offense and really just being able to see what we expected to see from him, and it didn't feel a lot different than what he's been doing in practices. There's some operational type things that we can clean up, and really across the board, any position. Game one, there's a lot of things that we'd like to clean up offensively, but for him to go out and just go through reads and throw the ball like we know he can, to complete almost 80% of your passes in your first outing with a new team, and to be back in that stadium, kind of where it all started for him is pretty cool as well. So just really, really pleased with him, happy for him, and I think we can continue to grow.
Wes, Kevin is always talking about tying the run to the pass, running effectively as you did with Aaron. Where did that show up in the passing game against the Giants?
It just, I think they have to honor it more. They have to, if you really want to stop the run and bring more guys closer to the box. Now you're leaving yourself susceptible to Justin Jefferson and Jordan Addison, those guys, and some of the other guys that made plays for us in the pass game. So. You just kind of got to pick your poison a little bit, and hopefully we can take advantage of whichever one they want to give us. We're just about being efficient and getting yards, and then trying to get some explosive plays mixed in there, get some chunks. But we'll take the yards any way we can get them.
Wes, can you talk about the Jones's first that 19-yard run in the third quarter comes after that 12-yard run to the right. Now it's 19 to the left. The execution on that, speaking of Christian, I think Christian had his guy on the right side by the time Aaron makes that cut. And then CJ had a great block, and Oliver kicks a guy out. And just how that all came together, blocking wise, and what Aaron did.
Yeah, they, it's kind of a weak side run that some of those tight zones can bend back. The backside can become the play side is kind of what receivers are always told on those tight zone runs. So if you're the opposite receiver, and Trent Sherfield did a great job coming down, getting in front of the safety, dropping down, but they actually had a little pressure there where they're bringing the edge player and bringing the mic real tight off of the defensive end who's kind of playing head up on CD. So the end spiking, and then the mic is coming real tight off of it. So it was a great job by CD to get that washed down. It was a great job by CJ. Sometimes the fullback wrapping for that guy can get a little too loose and get split. He came super tight off CD's left hip and was able to meet the backer in the hole there, and it created just a really big gap for Aaron, and then we got the crack on the safety, and now he's one-on-one with the corner. He's able to make him miss and get up the sideline for 19. So it was pretty well executed, cool play.
And something like that looks like Aaron has the easy job, but then there are probably some running backs that would have just kept going that front side and would have gotten 3-4 yards. What's his part in that and recognizing what to do?
Well, a lot of times, a tight zone run where you're kind of staying inside when they're playing an under structure with a 3 technique over there. It's not like your right guard is reaching that guy. So a lot of times those runs just are naturally going to cut back, but to be able to kind of wind back behind it all was a nice job by Aaron, but a lot of times those runs will kind of bend back to the strong side.
What do you feel like is the toughest challenge of this 49ers defense?
They have a lot of great players. Number one, they've got a good sound scheme. They're physical. They're athletic. They've got good players on every level of the defense, really great players on every level of the defense. They're coached well. They play hard. really, it's going to be a big challenge for us. It was a challenge last year playing these guys, and I expect nothing less. I mean, it's a team that's been in championship games and Super Bowls, and for good reason. They're good on both sides, and we're going to have to. Our defense is doing great, but they've got a good offense too. So it's really, they're just a good football team. So we've got our work cut out for us.
Wes, what does it do for CJ, or do for you, when CJ is able to be a lead blocker and then split out wide, motion out, so you can run more vertical stuff with him, and just the versatility that he brings to it? What does that open up for you guys from a play calling perspective?
Yeah, I think, probably a little bit what you're referring to is, we talked about the run, and then we kind of fly motion, jet motion him out, and kind of pulls coverage in a two deep, and we hit Josh Oliver down the seam. So having a guy like that who you trust and is versatile, and you can do some different things with him, and I think we're just kind of scratching the surface of some of the different things that are kind of maybe non-fullback, traditional fullback type roles that we can do with CJ. And in his past, he's done some tight end type roles as well, where he's actually in more of those tight end spots, and we've done a little bit with that as well. So he's kind of a guy. The fullback's kind of in the run game. He's kind of the eraser. He can kind of clean up things. He's able to go in on third down versus some exotic looks, and provide really stout protection for us as well. So he's just got a lot of value to us, a lot of roles that he can do.
How do you feel you guys are set up at wide receiver if Jordan Addison is limited or held out at all?
How do I feel we're set up?
Yeah, just to replace him if you need to.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know that you replace Jordan. I think he's a really good football player, and only continuing to get better, as a young player. But have a lot of confidence in those other guys that'll step up. And Jalen Naylor, I've always thought highly of him. He's had a couple of unfortunate things in his first couple of years that have just kept him out of some games and maybe kept him from progressing. But always felt like, when he was in there, he's always made plays for us when he's gotten opportunities. And you saw on the touchdown kind of a little stalk and go, sold it. You got to be a little bit of a salesman there, and sold it well, and Sam was able to get it to him. But feel confident in all those guys, Brandon Powell, Trent. If we end up activating Tristan, he's always been a guy going back to L.A. that I've had a lot of trust in as a receiver, and his ability to really go in and play any of the three positions.
Thanks, Mom.
Thanks.